something I always say that is that average people don't become multimillionaires investing. It's only the outliers who do. So by literal like definition, the average person investing in the market can only get average results. You have to be an outlier. You have to literally act and do things that the average person wouldn't do. And so a lot of the market is dictated by emotion. Harley kind of pointed that out. So when things are really bad, people are really fearful. So what does the average person do? They don't invest. They don't buy. And that's typically the best time to invest. So at the bottom of the market, 2022, the best time, when I threw all my money in, it was right after the FTX exchange collapsed. So like literally everyone was saying crypto was going to zero. Like there was people within the crypto space that had been here for years that were literally saying, I've given up. It's never going to come back. And they were like quitting crypto forever. It was like the whole thing was falling apart. There was blood in the streets. It was just a nightmare. And that was the point where I'm like, I'm going all in. Because look at what all the average people are too afraid to invest. And to me, that spelled a huge opportunity. So I threw everything I had in, and I ended up being right. Welcome to the Never Die Podcast, your weekly crypto alpha for those who never quit. Today I have Harley, the living bearded legend, on the podcast, and we're going to be talking about everything intro to crypto. So if you're brand new to crypto, you have zero experience, you want to get started in the crypto space, you want to get started making some money, trading some crypto tokens or whatever. We're going to give you our accumulated years of experience. We have navigated the minefields, the slums, and the metropolises of the crypto space. And we're going to give you all the insider secrets and tips because we have some amazing things. We know everything to avoid. We know all the cool places to go. Myself personally, I started with $0 and last cycle, and I went over $1 million. So I went from zero to over $1 million last cycle. A good, probably $80,000 of that was me doing side hustles first. So I didn't start with, you can't physically start with $0 and go to $1 million. I don't know if you guys know math, but $0 can't be multiplied by anything. But, I did a bunch of side hustles, got to $80,000. And then from there, I turned that $80,000 and well over $1 million. I held on to that money. And then after the bear market was over, right at the bottom of the bear market, I stuck every dime I owned, every living piece of money that I have, looked under my couch cushions for money. I just deployed it all into the crypto market, and I rode that bottom all the way to the moon, baby. And it's been a beautiful, lovely journey so far. And so, yeah, we got some secrets. We got some secret sauce. Harley, why don't you introduce give the people, the lovely listeners, a little insight into yourself.
Hey, I am Harley, the bearded legend, otherwise known as the North Manhattan Yeti, what they call me right here. Let's call it. No, yeah, I've been a long time in the crypto space. I guess they call it long time now. Started in 2017, got serious in 2018. At the depths of the bear market, I saw my opportunity and I took it. I just stuck to the main tokens, DCA'd with my $30 a week I had at the time. Worked my way in, turned that into more money. Got a job in the space, and now here I am on a podcast.
Yeah, he's made it. You are listening to him in your ears. That is the sign that he's made it. So even if you're a complete beginner, you have zero experience in the crypto space, we're going to help you out. We're your buddies in the crypto space, helping you navigate. You should listen to us because guess what? There's no ads on this podcast. I'm not getting paid to say anything. I don't run no media business. I make all my money crypto investing. That's how I make it. I don't do any sponsored content, any of that nonsense. I don't even do VC and C deals. I make money investing in the normal liquid markets everyone else does. So I got some alpha for you. But maybe let's get started. We kind of already answered this question. Let's get started by asking the question, is crypto investing really worth it, Harley? Is it just that on social media, there's a small few that actually make money, but really the rest don't? Is it just that some people got lucky last cycle and back in 2017 and back in 2012, but there's no more luck left? Is it worth it to get started investing in crypto? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes. Short answer is yes. And the regards to feeling late, people have felt late forever. When Bitcoin was $10, people felt late. When it was $100, they felt late. When it was $10,000, they felt late. And at $100,000, they'll feel late. And it's the same thing with many projects. And as to who can make money in it, yes, you can make money in it. It's all about having a proper strategy and the right head on your shoulders, honestly. If you are only following people on Twitter and buying what they buy, you will probably lose money. But if you've got some sound strategies, you absolutely can make money in crypto. It's not a pipe dream. Those gains do happen to the patient and the people who are willing to push through. You just have to find them.
Yeah, it's just like anything in life that you have to be like, you have to put in the work. You have to do the hard things to actually get good at this thing if you want to make money. But if you do those things, you can make a ton of money. In investing, it's like you got to beat the average person. So like think of the average person as like the rest of the market, right? And if you can beat the average person, if you can beat the majority of the market, you win, and you win really, really big. But the problem is most people give it zero effort. They'll look at like a cool coin. They're like, oh, that's a cool name. They'll throw money into it. Maybe they'll win. Maybe they'll lose. That's more like gambling because they're just guessing. Their friend told them about it. And then even if they do win, they're going to lose their money eventually because they don't know what they're doing. They're just throwing money at random tokens. And that's not how you win investing. You can't do that in stocks. You can't do that in crypto. You can't do that with anything in life. You got to put in the work if you want to win. There is no easy shortcut. But I will tell you this. In crypto, it is far easier to make money than just about anywhere else. Like if you know what you're doing, this is a shot to make a lot of money. And I'm going to give you an example right now because it has been like even during the crypto bear market. So during the last couple of years when nobody's been paying attention to crypto, there was this thing called airdrops, right? And a lot of people did, like not paying attention to this. I put in work. I farmed those things. I was doing them. I'm not going to really get into what they are right now. We'll maybe explain that a little bit later in the episode. But I was farming these airdrops, putting in a lot of work. And I was able to make over $100,000 in airdrops over the bear market. Okay, you don't have to have any money to do this thing. That's the crazy part. It's not like if you have a lot of money, it helps you. It's just about using a bunch of crypto apps and you can earn these airdrops. It's a crazy thing. And so that's just one example of an opportunity of that you have in the crypto space that's really easy to do that anyone could have done. Maybe doesn't exist elsewhere. And these opportunities won't exist forever. It's just like anything in life. Like, early internet, there was tons of opportunity. Everyone that got in early became like YouTube influencers. They became big bloggers. They started, internet businesses. They made tons of money. Try to do that today, and it's super competitive, and it's really difficult. Right now, not a lot of people pay attention to crypto. So there's opportunity, but eventually in the future, there won't be. So it's just like with anything. So yeah, I think me and Harley both agree. Crypto is a great place to make life-changing amounts of money. It is worth it.
It's the best.
But you got to put in the work. So what are some practical steps to get started, Harley, investing in crypto? What are some just walk me through it. I am literally picture me as like your little cousin. My name is Cousin Joseph, and you're coming over to Cousin Joseph and you're saying, "Hey Joseph, you're a good little cousin. I'm going to help you get started investing in crypto. I know nothing. How do I get started?"
Yeah, this advice won't be popular with like very like true crypto people, but when people ask me about it, and I know, especially if I know they're not going to be someone who's going to get very deeply involved in the space, I send them to like main apps like Coinbase and Robinhood, just because it's super easy. You can set it on a DCA schedule. You're into the blue chips, which are going to be the safer end of the spectrum. And that's where I direct them. And I say, here, buy a small amount, set an amount each week you're going to buy, and then just buy that amount. When you see the price go up, don't start buying more, right? Just leave it at that amount and do that. And that's what I get to people who are just like very introductory level, right? Because you want to understand that. And I was like, it's the best way to do it because what you're going to do is you're going to see the price increase at one point, and you're going to want to know more about it. Me telling you is one thing, but you're going to want to learn more once you start getting rewards. And so then you will start Googling every day. So this is how it happened with me. I bought it on these apps, and then I started Googling every day. I became obsessed with like understanding it more and more and more. And there's no one to guide me through this journey. I just slowly worked my way through it. All right. So I would always advise people to start at that very, very intro level. And then you can get into things like opening a Web3 wallet and things like that.
Well, remember, I'm Joseph, so I don't understand anything about crypto. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. My first question is, so you're saying I need to go use, you said, what do you call them, the main apps? So I need to get started on Coinbase, set up an account, and then I buy just I buy any crypto? I could buy anything on Coinbase, and I'm going to make a ton of money? Is that what you're saying?
No, I won't say you make a ton of money. I say it's the easiest place to make money, right? So I would advise put in an amount that you're okay losing because you're just starting out, right? This is an investment. You can't lose everything. And then start doing your research into what to buy. right? Me telling you what to buy isn't necessarily what you should buy because I don't necessarily know what's going up. And I may change my mind at a later date and you would not be aware of that. You need to get involved in the market and start deciding for yourself. So get in, buy just enough to have a stake into something. I'd say just buy Bitcoin. It's the safest. It has the most coverage. Everyone knows everything about Bitcoin. And then start learning from there. And then start dipping your toe in as you do research on other projects.
Okay. So I get in, I put some money that I can afford to lose into Bitcoin. And then from there, I start researching what else I want to buy. Where do I go to research these things? You said Google. So I just Google like best cryptos to buy 2024.
Yeah. So what I would do back in the day is I would just type Bitcoin, which I often misspelled. Actually, my phone started auto correcting to Buttcoin because I misspelled it so many times when I was googling it. So my phone learned that behavior. But yeah, I mean, you can't for these blue chips that you're going to see initially. You can go and there's going to be a lot of articles, and as with anything, you have to read a lot of things to come to your own conclusion. You can't just read one thing and like CoinDesk says that, Chainlink is going to be like the thing. So I have to put all my money into Chainlink. That's not the way to do it, right? There's articles under the assets on Coinbase. That's another reason why it's a great place. If you go there and check out an asset, you can start reading articles about it. You can go to see where it's ranked on CoinMarketCap. But for me, honestly, Google is a spot because it puts stuff together from different places where you can read the news and come to your own opinion about the asset.
I like that because everyone should have their own opinion about what they're investing into. I'm going to ask you another question. It's Joseph over here. And I'm going to say, well,
All right, Joey.
do you think I should just go watch some of these influencers on TikTok and YouTube? Like they be saying that like ICP is a good one, or they be saying that like I don't know why I'm laughing like that. They're saying I should buy.
they be saying
I should buy some Cardano, or are influencers a reliable place to a reliable information hub? How does that work?
I say influencers are probably, no offense, are probably second tier, like in your learning. Same way the Web3 wallet is like second tier, just because with a more centralized and like established like news source, they lie. We know that. We know the news lies about stuff, right? But like CoinDesk has a higher probability of giving you a more unbiased. There's still going to be bias towards crypto overall, but not necessarily towards one coin. Whereas an influencer, you don't know the ethics of them. You have to take time to learn them, learn which ones are good and bad. So they may be leading you down a bad path. Now, if they are talking about larger tokens, again, this is why it's easier to start with the big tokens, because an influencer shilling you a $1 trillion or $500 million project is not going to move it. They're not going to truly benefit from you yourself buying it the same way they would with something small. So in my opinion, I followed like Altcoin Daily and stuff when I first got in, and all these projects really talked about was like top 10, top 20 projects. And it really did help me expand beyond Bitcoin, which is the only thing I was buying. But for anything beyond that, again, that's second level stuff. Like learn before you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it's important to note. So like with a lot of these influencers, they run what's called media businesses. So the way that they primarily make their money is by getting views on their videos. So they get paid by YouTube. They're usually paid to promote a certain crypto project. They don't always disclose that information. So they might be talking about a specific project because they got paid to talk about it and not even tell you that they were paid. That's the only reason they're talking about it. Or they got some sort of early allocation or some sort of benefit. Another thing is like because they're incentivized to get views and because they make money by selling ad space, they might resort to like maybe doing scammy tactics that aren't going to benefit you in the long run. They're just like, they're meant to incentivize you to watch their video and maybe take some sort of action that will benefit them, but that might not necessarily benefit you. And so that's really the hard part. There are some really great creators on YouTube. There's some great creators on TikTok. There's some great creators on Twitter that don't do these things. And there's some great creators that do run a media business, but actually provide some solid information. But it is hard to discern which ones are great and which ones aren't great out of the gate. You can kind of get it down over time, but it is something where you kind of want to watch a creator a little bit over time before you start saying, hey, I'm going to really trust this advice and I'm going to like use this. And you should always double check, triple check kind of what they're saying and compare it against other sources. I would say that maybe the best place to start learning how to invest from like if you're going to go follow someone, is going to be some of the higher level podcasts. And they are kind of hard to understand, and they can be really confusing. But think of like the most geeky, nerdy crypto podcasts you can find. These guys got a reputation to protect. Like they're not out there just to show you some like crazy token. They're trying to learn and grow, and they have like a professional reputation. And so they're a lot more cautious with the things they talk about. It helps you understand the space, and you're going to learn about maybe projects and tokens that they're excited about, which means they probably have some good fundamentals to them. And there's something there. There's some sort of interesting thing there. And so I would say maybe that's a good place to start getting some information about the space. There's all kinds, but you got to be skeptical.
Real quick, just I think on those podcasts too, like they can really help you jump past like stage one as well. Yeah. Now that I'm hearing you say that, it is actually because they will talk about big stuff. They are established, but they can lead you down like the more technical side of things. So I agree.
Yeah,
with
and
you
I'd say some great ones are Bankless. I really like Bankless. I really like the Blockworks podcast. Obviously, Never Die. This is a great podcast. I interview a ton of different cool projects, and we do different episodes like this. There's Good Game. Good Game's a great podcast. There's a ton of them. I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but there's a ton of really great podcasts out there that dive into the space and talk about a lot of the cool stuff going on. And so maybe start there, and then once you kind of get an understanding of what the really smart, nerdy people think, then go to like the degenerate side of things, the YouTube, the TikToks, because they do have something to offer. Like I have a YouTube channel, okay, so and I'll talk about different cryptos and things. I like to believe I'm not very degenerate, but when I got started out, I was I was pretty bad. I've learned a lot since then.
Well, you were at stage one. You just got in your Web3
wallet.
wallet.
I was at stage one. But my point is, like, there's things that I think the really smart people miss in the crypto space, that maybe I wouldn't call them dumb, but like maybe the newer people, they latch onto these things and get them, and there's some opportunity there. But you want to balance it. Like anything in life, you want to balance it and really, look at both sides of the coin. Okay, so moving on from that, Harley, what are some things you wish you knew getting started investing in crypto?
Oh man. So I've had a good time, right? And I know people who had bad times in crypto are getting involved in it, and that's generally because they bought at the wrong time, right? So they bought when the market was hot, and it kind of just soured them, and they'll be back when their asset they've been holding recovers. And so I was lucky in that respect. If I hadn't been, lucky in that respect, then I wish someone would tell me, to understand the cycles a little bit better about holding. But the number one thing for me personally, in my experience, would have been looking at tokens beyond Bitcoin, actually being a bit more curious into it, right? So I think I started out the right way in crypto. Like I jumped in with Bitcoin. I was like, this is great. I learned a lot about the space, specifically Bitcoin space. But then it took me too long, I'd say, to jump past that phase, right? So by the time I jumped past that phase and really started buying a lot of other things, I'd been in crypto for 2-3 years, right? And if I had done that sooner and started learning about those things sooner, the few things I did buy, every one of them, phenomenal returns, right? But if I had been a bit earlier to that, I could have been investing in the 10 to 50 range ranked projects that had just huge outsized return compared to what my Bitcoin position has done, right? And I'm very happy with my Bitcoin position, but I could have done so much better, because I've seen people enter after me who've done much better from being a bit more inquisitive than I am. So I think, start safe, but be inquisitive is the advice I wish I would have received.
I think for me, when I first got started, I was listening to a lot of other people and what they said to buy, and I was buying those things, and I was just trusting them. I was just trusting they knew what they were talking about. But I wasn't looking into these things for myself. I wasn't doing the research myself. I wasn't understanding how these things work myself. And I get that's a really deep rabbit hole. There's a lot to understand there. That's a lot of work to have to put in, and it's so much easier to just go listen to somebody and buy what they say to buy. The problem is I missed out on so many great opportunities that today I could have seen if I would have just put in that work. And so I left a lot of money on the table because of that. And I got into a lot of stupid things that were just really, really dumb because I didn't understand how that thing worked and just how general finance, works. And so there's a lot of just alpha and a lot of like edge you can get over the rest of the market by actually going and learning and understanding these things. It takes time. It's hard work. Nobody said it was going to be easy. And if you want to go make easy money somewhere, then like there really isn't an easy. There's not a more easy money place than crypto, in my opinion. But it still takes you doing work, and you're still going to have to outwork the rest of the market. And like I said, I made $100,000 doing airdrops. So like clicking buttons, essentially, I made $100,000. But it took work. Not everyone did that. Like I had to put in the work. So for me, it'd be if I could go back in time, I would have put more work in earlier to understand things. That would have allowed me to avoid a lot more scams, and that also would have allowed me to identify a lot more good projects that I wish I would have seen earlier.
Yeah. Actually, I can vouch for that. One of the projects I did get into very early was actually Chainlink, because I was on Medium for something else, and I guess I don't know how it picked up. I just started into crypto, but sent me this article called "The Fourth Industrial Revolution," and this thing was like a 23-minute read. It was a monster article, and my mind was blown. I was like, I have to figure out how to buy this token. So I figured out. I bought it when it was like 50 cents. It was amazing. But Medium isn't the sort of like great articles, actually. Not a shill article. A 3-minute read that's written by AI is not going to be your best bet. But if you can find like dense articles like talking about like practical applications of things, like and you enjoy reading it, like you found your niche on your research.
You made me think of something, which is not something I wish I would have done, but it just happens to be something I did really smart out the gate because of some of the people that I learned investing from, which was right out the gate. I had this setup where I had a really solid position sizes and really solid strategy around how I invested, in that like every time I would invest into a crypto, I would only invest, depended like how much money I had, but it'd be like 100 to 500 to 1,000. So if I had a ton of conviction in this and I had a ton of money to invest, maybe I'd do 1,000. But when I was a little bit poorer, it was like 100 or 500. So I'd be like, okay, I think this is going to skyrocket. I'm going to put $500 in it. And this one I don't really know as much about, so I'm just going to put $100 in it. But I feel like it is a good one. And so I would have standardized position sizes where it was like always 100 or 500, 100 or 500. I'd never do more. And no matter how much I love that thing, I would never do more because I was new. I didn't know what to do. And then another one of my rules was every time it would triple, every time a crypto would triple, I would sell a third. So every time it would triple, I would sell a third and take my money off the table, so that I was constantly like de-risking positions. Because again, I was new. I didn't really know when to sell and when not to sell. And that's like some cryptos last cycle that tons of people lost money in. I actually ended up making money because I was taking profit along the way. So if you're new, these are not bad rules to follow. Every time it triples, sell a third and pick standard position sizes. That alone will give you so much edge versus the rest of the market, because they're just throwing money at stuff. They're never taking profits, and that'll allow you to win over the long term.
And it's hard. It can be hard to follow rules. Like that's one thing about this market, is it can make you feel influenced, right? Like if you're winning all the time, you're going to think like everything you do is correct. So you can stay in things a bit longer than you should, not follow rules on taking profits. Like, oh, everything's going up, I can make more money. That's the biggest thing that I think ends up, that where I've lost money actually, is where I've gotten greedy.
Yeah.
Like at most things I've lost money on, I was actually well in profit at one point.
Yeah.
Right. But I let it ride instead of being responsible, because like at those times, like I just didn't have the hard rules. So if you guys are new to the space, definitely, like, you don't need to do exactly what Jesse did, but definitely set yours out, right? In terms of like whatever you put into it, if you are gonna like lose 50% on that, like, can you lose 50% on that, or will you be up for 3 days like worried about it? Like, and same thing with taking profits. It sucks in the moment because you're like, man, this could keep going. This could be like life-changing money. You start thinking about how much money you're gonna make, right? Counting before you're even there. And you'll rationalize that until you're in a negative position. And then you'll finally get out of it. So, sage advice.
Yes, so much of winning in crypto is actually just the strategy you employ. Because like Harley said, a lot of cryptos will go up. Like they'll do really, really well. It's just most people won't take profit on them. And so because they don't capture the profit, it's your psychology. So like essentially something I always say, that is that average people don't become multimillionaires investing. It's only the outliers who do. So by literal like definition, the average person investing in the market can only get average results. You have to be an outlier. You have to literally act and do things that the average person wouldn't do. And so a lot of the market is dictated by emotion. Harley kind of pointed that out. So when things are really bad, people are really fearful. So what does the average person do? They don't invest. They don't buy. And that's typically the best time to invest. So at the bottom of the market, 2022, the best time, when I threw all my money in, it was right after the FTX exchange collapsed. So like literally everyone was saying crypto was going to zero. Like there was people within the crypto space that had been here for years that were literally saying, I've given up. It's never going to come back. And they were like quitting crypto forever. It was like the whole thing was falling apart. There was blood in the streets. It was just a nightmare. And that was the point where I'm like, I'm going all in. Because look at what all the average people are too afraid to invest. And to me, that spelled a huge opportunity. So I threw everything I had in, and I ended up being right. And on the other end of the spectrum, when the market's at its top, everyone's going to believe that crypto can only go up. They're going to believe they're just invincible. Like everything they put money in is going to just like keep going up forever. And to them, they're greedy. They're like, well, I'm not going to sell. That'd be so stupid. The average person will think it's stupid to sell. And when that's what everyone thinks, that's the time to sell. Because you can't be average. You have to be an outlier. You have to literally think in a way that the majority of the rest of the people don't think if you want to win, because only a small portion of the market actually gets to win. And it's those that think differently. It's like kind of like rock, paper, scissors. Like you're guessing what your opponent's going to do, and you want to do the thing that they're not going to do that's going to allow you to win. That's what investing is, but it's like a way more complex game. But in some ways, like a way easier game, because people just they do the same thing. They all get fearful at the same time and do the same thing, and then they all get greedy at the same time and do the same thing. It's like clockwork, actually. You can kind of count on it. So don't be average. Be the outlier.
Yeah, you got people like me there to be below average, so there's room for you all to be above average.
Okay. So your mom calls you up. She's like, Harley, what's going on? And she talks to you like that for some reason. And then she says, Harley, I'm into crypto, and I really want to buy something. And for some reason, she's got a Southern accent too now. And what do you like? But she doesn't want to buy Bitcoin. What do you tell her to buy?
Well, I've actually done this with my mother. I during the bear market, I was having to buy Chainlink when it was whatever, like $5 or something. I was like, just buy a little bit every week. Buy Chainlink. I was like, it's great. I would never use these words with someone that I don't know that well, but I told her, I was like, it's a guaranteed 5x. I was like, just do it right now, please. Like whatever you have, even if it's only $50, just buy this. So that's what I did. Like Chainlink is still. I mentioned it about the article a little earlier in the conversation from 2018. I think the article was written in December 2018, and it made me believe, and I still do believe in like Chainlink's role in like tokenized assets and like the bridging of Web 2 and Web 3. Like I do still think that. So to me, like I would just say Chainlink.
Chainlink. Okay. If it was me and my mom called me up, I would say to buy Akash. It's like a crypto AI play. I really like that one. So it's less than $1 billion market cap. I think it could go potentially to 100 billion. I think one crypto AI project will do that. So I think it's in the realm of maybe possibility. I would buy I'd say IMX Immutable because crypto gaming. I think that's going to be huge. I would say Polygon, the Matic token. In the future, it'll be the Pol token. And that's because of their aggregation layer and connecting together different blockchains. I think that's going to be huge. And I would say Ethereum, because with Ethereum, you can go and stake it and earn a bunch of these airdrops. So it's like the easiest way to earn an airdrop right now, in my opinion, is to buy some ETH, go stake it on EtherFi, or go stake it on something like Swell, and then move that restake it on Swell, use that restaked Swell to move it to the Swell layer 2. It's kind of confusing, but okay. If you just restake it,
you lost my mother, by the way. My mother is left.
I would probably have to walk my mom through how to do this and literally help her do it. But like, yeah, restake some ETH on Swell, and then maybe you earn a Swell airdrop, and maybe you earn some airdrops from these AVSs. Maybe you earn the Icon layer airdrop, and that's just like a really simple thing. You don't have to really do anything to earn those things. And I think for a lot of people, they might not have a lot of money. Maybe they have like $500, $1,000 to invest. And so like your biggest bang for your buck, probably like let's say you invest into a, Polygon that goes up 10x. Your 500 turns into 5,000. That is pretty awesome. I don't think anyone's gonna be sad about that. But maybe from the airdrops, maybe you make 1,000 from this airdrop, 1,000 from this airdrop, and ETH goes up 5x too. So maybe ETH goes up 5x plus you made a couple hundred from this one, 1,000 from this one, or whatever. And so I think, I don't know. I feel like maybe probability wise, like it's maybe easier for them to realize some sort of gain from the airdrop, and because that's why I recommend it. But I mean, I don't know. If it was like a caution, it did 100x. Obviously, you'd rather have $500 turn into 50,000. So
but I was thinking I guess I was thinking more like what I did tell my mother rather than what I say today. But still, I don't see there's any way where my mom's going to go down the rabbit hole and get a Kepler wallet. To buy a Kosh. She'll probably be like a post Coinbase buyer. Is it on Coinbase yet?
Yeah, Kosh is on Coinbase now.
It's on Coinbase. Yeah. So then she can get on Coinbase.
Well, what are the most common ways people lose money investing in crypto? Investing in crypto.
I don't know the actual numbers on it, but the two biggest things are like buying tops, right? So you see that generally by the time is like if you're getting a recommendation for something rather than stumbling upon it through your own research, the chances are like short term, like you're at the top of some buy frenzy. Right? Like you're hearing about it from someone either because there's a referral link or because like they are in euphoria of some sort from profits. Right? So they pass it on and now like you're probably in a position to lose money. So people see it, they think the excitement's gone, they'll sell, they'll lose money right there. So top buying kind of, and then selling, like going into non-conviction plays, that kind of way. And then scams, like lots of scams. People approving transactions on the wrong thing. And this is especially important if you're new to crypto. Like you have to be like razor sharp about it's like when you get beyond, even honestly on Coinbase, people do get hacked. So you have to set up your two-factor authentication, all that. But the biggest hacks or the biggest losses I tend to see are from people basically getting hacked by approving transactions on, they thought it was an airdrop, whatever it is, like thousands every single time.
Yeah, and when you say getting hacked, so because people, you said it, but I want to break it down more. It's that you have to do something usually to get hacked. So it's like in crypto, you're going to click a link and then you're going to sign a transaction. So when you use a crypto wallet and you sign a transaction, it's kind of like you giving the blockchain permission to do whatever you're signing, okay? Think of it kind of like a contract, right? The thing is, just like a contract, sometimes maybe it's a malicious transaction and they hide in the details something like, hey, by the way, we get the right to drain all your funds if you sign this transaction. And so a lot of people they'll click on a wrong link thinking it's a link for something that it's not. It's a scam link. And then they'll sign a transaction that says, hey, we can drain all your funds, and then all their funds get drained. And that is usually how people lose all their money. You have to be paranoid about this. There's you can do the DeFi Llama extension. That'll kind of highlight scam links on Twitter. You can use something like a Rabby Wallet, which it'll kind of give you a transaction simulation of what's going to happen. So that helps avoid scams. And then you just got to like triple check everything. I always check 3 sources when I'm clicking a link. Again, nobody said this would be easy. It is kind of hard. If this was really easy to do, everyone would be doing it and there wouldn't be any opportunity left. That's the reality, is like by the time it's super easy and you're like, oh, well, finally it's convenient, all the opportunity is gone. And it's going to be just like anything else. So this is kind of if you want to go into the unknown, if you want to, explore the new world, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to take some risks. You might get bit by a rattlesnake. You might get shot by a person that shoots you, and it could get bad.
Shot by a person that shoots you. Lois and Clark or Lewis and Clark.
Lois and Clark. Lois and Clark is Superman.
Lois and Clark. Well, yeah, that's right. Well, they had their own journeys as well, exploring.
Yes.
It's called Lewis and Clark. They didn't come to the West, in a Cadillac. They came out here, they carved a path, and that's how their names live on forever, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to go past it. But there are, like you said, snakes is a good way, right? Yesterday I was on Twitter, and I was looking at a thing. I just finished up, like, the staking, whatever. And all that was changed, his profile is exactly the same, and they had it right under the thread. All that was changed was the last letter, which was like an abbreviation of dragon. So instead of an N, they had an M at the end. And if I just don't pay that much attention and like I click through, that's it. That could be it. It's that easy to get robbed, especially when you're new.
Yeah. I like what you said about the buying the top, though. That's like a big thing where like people are investing. So something, if you're new, you might not know this, but if you've been around for a little bit, even people that have been around for a bit, maybe don't even catch on to this. But people like to use mental shortcuts. So like, because they want to be lazy and not think about what they want to buy, they'll kind of just see what everyone's talking about. So if everyone's talking about a crypto, let's call it Ding Dong Coin. When they see,
I love Ding Dong.
Yeah, when they see Dong just like skyrocketing, they're
all Dong does is go up.
They're going to be like, man, why is everyone talking about Ding Dong Coin? Why is this like, this is what everyone wants right now? And because of that, they're going to go buy it. But the thing is, when a token goes up in value, Harley literally said this perfect. When a token goes up, everyone gets euphoric and starts talking about it. And it just like starts trending everywhere. And everyone like, suddenly that token is like the best token ever. Everything they're doing is perfect. The technology behind it is like so revolutionary because it's going up. And so tons of people buy into it. The thing is, when it goes down, people will say the opposite. They'll be like, actually, we should have known it was trash because of this, this, and this. It was obviously overbought. And so narrative follows price. Like if the price goes up, everyone gets excited about it. If the price goes down, everyone turns bearish about it. You can't really follow those signals. You got to actually understand these things if you want to be like, you can't buy things just because people are talking about, that token. You need to be early when nobody's talking about it. Nobody's like, it's not really, trending. And you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to put money, like crypto gaming right now. Everyone thinks like within the space, everyone's like crypto gaming stupid. It's never going to take off. And I've done enough research to know like that is not the case. There's actually a ton of value here. This is going to be impactful. So I've positioned myself in crypto gaming. It's not hot right now. Nobody wants to talk about it right now. But in the future, it will be. It's going to be big. And so when it's big, I'll make a ton of money. But that'll probably be when I sell. Not when I'm buying. That'll be when I sell because that'll be like, cool, now it's big. It's made me a ton of money. I sell. But there's going to be a lot of people that buy. They're going to buy the stuff I sell because they're going to be like, wait late to the party and they're going to FOMO in. So you don't want to do those things. And you can lose a lot of money just rotating from the popular thing to the next popular thing to the next popular thing. You got to go in front of it and figure out what's going to be next and put your money there. And that's how you make money. It's like kind of like predicting what's going to be popular in the future.
Yeah, and you have to have that patience. Like I think the thing a lot of people come into the space for is they come in thinking like number one top of their head, like I'm going to make a lot of money, right? Like which is good. Like we are here, like we're investing, like we want to make money. But if you're coming in like and you're not patient, right? Just because you can make 100, 1,000x on crypto doesn't mean you're going to in a week, right? Like it's very, very rare. Right. Yeah. It's like the piss end of like the bull cycle. Like when we're just like the end of Rome is happening and we're just like, that's when things are like shooting like that. If you get the right thing. But like overall, like you're investing in like the bear market, early bull market, even the bull's running, right? You can get 10% a day, 20% a day, but overall it's going to be a longer paced thing where you have to have a conviction in what you've chosen to invest in and stick with that. Because if you're constantly chasing these pumps, you are going to be the below average that helps the outliers. That's how it's going to happen.
Well, one thing you made me think of is a way that I've lost a ton of money is there's a trading saying, which is don't try to catch a falling knife. And like I'll see a crypto maybe I had like an eye on and it'll have like dropped crazy in value. Like it just like dropped weirdly for whatever reason. And I'll be like, oh, great. Like it's gone down in price. It's not going to go any lower. I'll buy here. And then it drops lower. And I'm like, oh, great. I'll buy here too. This is even cheaper. And then it goes lower. And everyone's like, buy the dip. And I'm like, great. I'll buy here too. And then it goes lower. And this is called don't try to catch a falling knife. And what it is basically like if something's collapsing, except in really, really rare circumstances, you usually just want to let it collapse. And you want to wait till it kind of levels out before you decide to buy. Obviously, you won't catch the exact bottom, but overall, you're going to save a lot more money not trying to catch that falling knife and just waiting for it to kind of settle out on its own before you jump in. I have lost so much money buying cryptos that have gone down in price, thinking that they won't go down further, and then they go down further. And I've lost so much money doubling down on positions that kept collapsing further. That is something you don't want to do, and that's a hard lesson to learn. But it's almost like a gambler's addiction, because you lost the money and you're like, oh, it's cheaper now, you buy it. There's rare circumstances where you do this, like when it's like in your core, your gut, you're like, this is going up. You have like the most conviction you ever had. Maybe that's the time you double down. But for the vast majority of circumstances, you do not want to do this, because you will lose so much money. And this is a really common thing that most people do, where they double down on stupid positions and they lose more and more and more money to the same stupid position.
Yep. And he's talking from experience. You guys can't see our hands, but they're covered in scars.
Literally.
So many knives.
So many dong coins have collapsed on me, and I have tried to catch it, and that dong kept going lower. Okay, so let's talk about getting on chain. Is it good enough to just trade on Coinbase, or should people take the time and effort to get on chain and start trading on DEXs, to staking, earning airdrops, etc.?
I think it's absolutely worth it. As someone who is on chain, it took me to the next level, right? Because it's those levels I talked about at the beginning of the episode, where that's where I started making enormous gains, right? Not that like the whatever 20 something X I have on Bitcoin currently is like anything to scoff at, but that is over like years of investing, right? Where I started making like insane silly gains, and at the same time losing insane silly money off from some of those gains. That's on chain, right? And now you have the airdrops. That's probably the best reason to get on chain at the moment, just because if you can understand it and pick the right opportunities, it's such a low effort, high return, like safe play for the most part. Like you can just hold ETH, which is like one of the safest things you can hold. Like, we won't go super into ETH. Like he's covered it a little bit, and you can just bridge that, stake it, and you're going to make money just by doing that. Which I think is just, we won't go too into airdrops, but that is just such a high value thing that you can only do by being on chain right now. And then, like later in the cycle, you'll want to be on chain because new tokens will be there, and you'll hopefully have made a lot of money by that point. You'll want to go to the casino, the Ponzi casino, and throw a little bit around. You're only going to be able to do that on the chain.
And a good example of that is later in the cycle, you do have a lot of Ponzi's that pop up. So like, it's a really easy thing to think of. Like, people start investing in the safest assets. Those go up. The people that relate to those are like, well, I'm going to go to a little bit more risky ones. Those go up. And the people that relate to that are like, I'm going to go to the even more risky ones. And they just keep doing that over and over until eventually it's like these weird Ponzi's and just nonsense that's popping off towards the end of the cycle before everything collapses. And those things do print money. Like you can invest in those things and make a lot of money, but you need to know that you're investing into a Ponzi scheme that will absolutely 1000% collapse. If it has, 10,000% APY, or it's like some weird new, it's not really building anything, but it's just a weird spin on tokenomics and, doing things like up only tokens that are like, this token only goes up because we did this, this, and this. Those things are usually Ponzi's. They're going to collapse eventually. You need to understand that. You mentioned something which was airdrops. To give you a tangible example of what he means by airdrops and how going on chain you can make money, my biggest airdrop I've ever earned was I used a crypto social media app called Farcaster. It's literally like a Twitter. It's like a version of Twitter, but it's decentralized. So nobody owns it. Nobody can take your account from you. You can't be censored on there. So like, if I go on there and have my account and I build 1 million followers, they can't come and be like, hey, we're going to take that from you, because they don't own it. I own it. I own those 1 million followers. Where with Instagram, I had an account with 40,000 followers. Instagram literally took it down, banned me from Instagram because they thought I was pretending to be myself. They literally thought I was pretending to be Jesse Eckel. They're like, you're a fake account. We're taking you down. I'm like, I'm myself. I can prove that. Let me upload my identity, like my ID or whatever. And I couldn't get to support. They wouldn't do it. They're like, nope, it's permanent. You're done. You have to start over. And I lost I had that thing for 10 years. I lost everything. It sucks. And so that's actually why I started this podcast, was because a podcast is kind of a decentralized social media where it's like you own it. In that, like, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, you can listen to it on Apple, you can listen to it on Google, on Amazon. Like, those are front ends for a decentralized social media that I own. And so in the same way, that's what Farcaster is. It's like a decentralized social media network. It's really cool. It's got a ton of users.
Are we currently flexing on the gram? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, we're flexing on the gram. And then, so anyway, I was a really early user of this. I heard about it, but I was just using it to learn about it. I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to learn about this because if this is going to be a big trend and narrative this cycle, I want to understand it early so I can make a ton of money investing in a bunch of crypto social media things. And so I used it a bunch and whatever. And then, maybe a year went by and some project ended up airdropping a token to early users of Farcaster. So if you were an early user, they wanted to give you a special little gift. And it's their token that they printed out of thin air that has zero value. But if enough influential people like it, then suddenly it has value because they're going to buy it with money. And so they airdropped this token. It was a meme coin called DGen. It's worth like $2,000. That's crazy. I was like, I just made $2,000 from clicking buttons. This is amazing. And I almost sold it, but then it like went down to $1,000, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep it. And I didn't sell it because I was just, I don't know, I was busy, whatever. That $1,000 meme coin went up. I didn't buy any more. That went up to $60,000 in it was worth $60,000 at its height. And that's from me clicking buttons. You can only earn these things going on chain and doing things. And so that's like, if you're going to want to buy these things anyway and do things, like why not go on chain? In 2017, I got the Uniswap airdrop, and now I just did a swap on Uniswap. I bought a token and I got airdrop $3,000 or something like that. And it's crazy. You can just sell this token. I was a Uni token. It's worth a lot of money now. But I could have just sold it for ETH or Bitcoin or a stable coin and had that, put that in my pocket, transfer it into my bank. It's a really cool concept. A lot of people outside the space don't understand it, think it's a scam or stupid or whatever. And you can keep believing that. But while you're believing that, me and Harley are over here raking in the airdrops on all these different tokens because we're doing things on chain. We're early users.
It's a new way to be early, right? Without having capital helps.
Yeah.
Having capital does help because you get higher volumes. You're able to not worry about gas fees as much, But it is a new you're looking at a new funding model, kind of. It is, instead of receiving raising money, right? Well, some of them do raise money, but instead of having to do that, then spending that money to acquire users, right? You may raise whatever. Most of them do have huge raises, but then you attract users from this token, which you're going to create, which has no value, but the users you bring in create the value for the token because now you have users and income and revenue on your platform. And the only real cost of giving them tokens is the liquidity, right? So if you give it out and there's probably a whole science behind doing the actual airdrops and managing your liquidity when you do it. But it's a very low cost way for projects to do it. It's high reward for users.
And we have an entire podcast me and Harley did on this. It's somewhere on here. So go look for our airdrops, beginner's guide to airdrops. We go through everything about airdrops. It's a really interesting space, really interesting concept. And definitely another place that's just filled with scams. There's all kinds of nonsense in that sector as well. So you're going to want to really understand it. But the point is, you should get on chain. It is worth it. Moving on. If you only had $1,000 to invest today, you have $1,000 in your pocket, and you're knowing everything you know about crypto, you got all the skills. What are you going to invest that $1,000 in right now to make as much money as you physically possible can?
With all the knowledge I have,
right now. All the knowledge you have right now.
So I'm not just fresh. Okay, so because I don't want to go fly in the face of my own advice. It's just starting on Coinbase with Bitcoin. Man, $1,000. You know what I would probably do, because I only have 1,000, so I don't want to lose it, but I do want high returns. I'd probably pile it in to the 20 to 100 range tokens, and split. I would do research into those tokens and find things, right? So I mentioned Chainlink earlier, which Chainlink may or may not be inside the top 10. I'm not sure if it is, but Pith is another one. It's on Solana. Solana, especially right now, Solana is very much down. The whole ecosystem is down a bit. So I would probably buy some of that because it's ranked about 100, and I think that one can do many multiples. Akash is another good one within the top 100 that will probably, not financial advice, all that, but probably 30x, right? If not more, and you're going to see a huge return on your money. If I want to turn a grand into $100,000, hitting projects like those, is going to be the best way to do it, right? Because I'm trying to YOLO this into the most money possible. I'm not trying to 5x on ETH. I'm trying to 100x on my money, but not lose it. So that would be my strategy.
That's a good strategy. Yeah, mine's gonna be somewhat similar. I'd probably take $500 and I would use that to farm airdrop. So I'd take 500, I'd put it into ETH. I would move that into Swell. Like as of today, I'd put it into Swell, restaked ETH. I would take that restaked ETH and I would move it over to the Swell layer 2, so I could earn like an extra airdrop from that. So I'm going to earn airdrops from people that deploy on Swell's layer 2. I'm going to earn airdrops from Eigenlayer. I'm going to earn airdrops from the AVSs. I'm going to earn the Swell airdrop. So it's like a ton of different airdrops I could potentially earn by doing that one action. And then for the other 500, I would probably buy a Kosh, maybe with 100 of it, buy Immutable with another 100 of it. I would buy Matic with another 100 of it. And then that final 200, I'd probably do something super risky. I'd probably stick 100 into Perion, just because it's super small right now. And then I'd stick 100 into... this last one's hard. I'm trying to think of another really small cap. Maybe Index. Index is pretty small. Maybe I'd stick 200 in Perion. Right now, I'm just going to say I'd stick all 200 into Perion and just be like, you know what? Let's see what happens, because I don't have that much money. I would probably, if I only had $1,000 to invest, I'd be like, well, I need to find more money to invest. That'd be my like first priority. Would be like, I don't have a lot to invest. I'm going to throw this in there so I can start learning. And what side hustles or things that I can I do to get more money to invest? And this comes from experience.
Like I take 200, I buy a gun from the guy in the corner, and I rapidly start acquiring capital from people.
so when I this is like part of my journey. Is I started out on it was like back in 2020, COVID hit. I had a really big, amazing business filming weddings. I made tons of money, ridiculous amount of money, only working 12 weeks a year. I lived the dream. And I lost all that in like 2 weeks when COVID hit because everyone stopped having weddings and getting married because they're like, or they did like private weddings or whatever. And so my whole
my wedding got canceled.
Yeah, I had 5 kids. My wife's a stay-at-home mom, so no way to make money. And I literally sit on the couch playing Minecraft and eating Eggo waffles with chocolate chips in them, and strawberry ones too. I had both those. And dude, those are so good. That was like my depression. I was deeply depressed at this time in my life. Very hard to build a business like that. And I started from zero. I got on unemployment at one point. It was like my most my lowest of lows. I'd never been on that in my life. And I snapped out of it and I was like, screw this. I'm getting out of this. I'm doing something amazing. And I started doing side hustles. So I actually didn't even start off investing. I was like, I didn't want to work for somebody. I wanted to do side hustles. I did everything. I did Pinterest ads, Google ads. I flipped land, flipped things on Facebook Marketplace. I made a physical product in China and sold it. I did like TikTok ads, or like I made organic TikTok content. I started a company that helps restaurants do marketing. Dude, I can't even remember all the things they did because I did literally anything that on TikTok, somebody's like, try this side hustle. I tried it. I literally tried every single one. I did this one scheme. It was awesome. I read this book about like how powerful like mailing letters was or whatever. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Not a lot of people talk about that. So I bought like a little robot. I like spent every dime I had at the time and I bought this little robot that like would write letters, but like automated. It's like really small. It wasn't huge. And I would write, I like get businesses to sign up for me to like handwrite letters and send them to all the people that like they wanted to like get to do something. So like I had this one that they wanted to sign up these like hotels to like work with them or whatever. And so we'd send out handwritten letters every month, and they got like $400,000 worth of jobs from those handwritten letters. It was actually really useful and beneficial. I just wasn't. It was a lot of work, and I wasn't making very much money from it. But anyway, I tried every side hustle I could to make a ton of money, and I was able to get to about $80,000 worth of capital saved up from doing those side hustles. And so I took that and I invested with it. But if I could do that, so could you. So if I only had $1,000 to invest, I would focus on building up more capital. But learning while you're doing it. If you invest that $1,000, but then go build some capital up to invest more, because ideally you want your money working for you. You don't want to be working out. You go and work for money. I had it described to me as like you want to make baby money, so you have like your little adult monies, and you want that adult monies to kind of like mate. So you're like they get together and they make a little baby money, and then the baby monies, those are what you could spend, right? But you don't want to spend your adult monies. So like the money you make from working, you don't spend that. Okay, that is for investing. The money that your money makes, that's what you can spend because you have unlimited to that. Because your money makes it.
I heard this principle somewhere. I don't know if it was it. It might have been one of those books you recommended, like back
Richest Man in Babylon. Imagine you got chickens, dude.
All right.
You got some chickens. You want your chickens to make little baby chickens, and you eat then you can eat some chickens, right? But if you have 2 chickens and you kill them and eat them, well, now you got nothing. So you want them to make some eggs, some baby chickens, and you want to build out your little flock of chickens. So you have like an army of chickens. That's how. But for whatever reason, like people are like, myself included, for forever, we're never taught this. We're like, oh, cool, we made money, let's spend it, and we never think of like, oh, cool, we could plant this like a little crop and build up more money, and you could have like perpetual little money machine by investing. It could be in real estate, it could be starting a bit. You can invest in your own business, it could be in crypto, it could be in whatever. But like, you want your money working for you and making little baby money, so you take the little baby money and you spend that. It's like it'll work for you.
100%. It's painful for me, like when I'm taking money out of like my investments. I'm just like, I don't think of like, oh, I just spent like $1,000 or I don't have. I think of like future money too. I'm like, I'm no longer gaining all my money. My money is gone. Yeah,
you take out of a cost, you think you're going to 30x, and you're like, cool, I just spent $1,000, but maybe that was $30,000 I just spent. I mean, dude, it gets in your head. Once you get into it, it's good, but it gets in your head. Like, I still drive one car. Like, I have a lot of money and I make a lot of money. I drive a minivan. I don't even have a second car. Me and my wife share a car. And like, I haven't bought in a new house. Still live in the same house. Still have like everything's the same. I've not upgraded my lifestyle at all because I want my money working for me because I value freedom and the ability to just do whatever I want with my time, even though. That we'll get into, that's a whole other bag of things in that, like, I feel like I've sort of become a slave to social media, and that, like, I feel like this pressure to, like, constantly put out content on podcasts and YouTube and stuff, which I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to fix that by, that's about to change soon because I started a newsletter, and I'm push my content out whenever I put it out, but I'm not going to put it out as frequently. Point being, I value my time. I value, like, being able to spend my time how I want to, and not as much as, like, maybe a nice house or a cool car or whatever.
I won't say it on the podcast. It's called FU money. There's like a little speech in like this gambler movie. The guy's just talking about getting FU money, right? He goes, it's not like being like independently wealthy. Like, you can still have a job even. Like, it's just like you got your house paid off. You got make enough interest to pay off all your taxes and monthly bills. But like, so you can at any time you can tell anyone to just F off if you don't like what they're doing. Like, and he goes, that's like the middle class goal. All right.
Yeah. And maybe for me, it's not even necessarily like full on like that, as much as like, dude, I literally despised working for somebody else. Like, when somebody, like, I had to show up when they wanted me to. I could only take a vacation when they allowed me to. My life was dictated by what they said I could do, and I had to constantly appease them. Like, for me, I was like, okay, like, I'm subservient to you in a certain way. Like, you dictate more about my life than, like, in some ways I'm able to dictate because, like, most of my time I'm working, and I hated it. I literally hated it. And I enjoyed working for myself too, but even like a self-employed, I had clients and they dictated a lot about my life. And so
for 4 months.
Yeah, for 4 months. The rest of the time I had a lot of fun. But when you have investment income, like, you don't have to work for any. You do what you want. What are you excited about? What do you like doing? What do you enjoy doing? Go do that. And you still can make money. You still have I still have a job of sorts because I'm like making YouTube content, but I do that because I'm just really creative and like making content. And I'm investing, but that's kind of like my sport. I enjoy investing. I make this kind of stuff, but I enjoy it. It's like fun to me. So I do stuff I like. It's fun stuff. And I wish everyone could do that. And I think with AI and a bunch of stuff coming, I think there's a lot more opportunity to do these things than you think. And a lot more people could be doing these things because pretty soon you're going to have AI doing a lot of the things that have to get done for like people to eat and the necessities. And then you're going to have robots. Some of these robots are insane from like Boston Dynamics and even Tesla. They're going to do a lot of the work. So it's like we're going to be able to do kind of like non-essential things. A lot more people are. And now's the time to get started. Come do some non-essential fun stuff with the rest of humanity because you could be doing that. If you're not doing it, somebody else is going to do it. So why not you?
Come make some crypto money and be a robot overlord.
Yeah, you get to be a robot overlord. All right, this conversation has kind of gotten
we're going off
the rails. This is that's it. that's really the gist of it. If you have any questions, I know we didn't cover everything. I know there's a lot more to crypto investing. I have some videos on YouTube about like intros to getting started investing that maybe break things down in more of a tutorial kind of example of like how to set up a wallet, how to get started buying crypto and stuff like that. If you really want to get into it, this is more like a general overview of some wisdom getting started and just like maybe a general playing field, high overview of things. But yeah, if you have questions, let us know in the comments of the YouTube video.
Yeah, ask below. Say, where do I spend my $1,000?
All right, cool. Well, as always, crypto's risky, investing's risky. We told you at the start, this is risky. There's scams. It's a lot of hard work. None of this is investment advice. You need to do your own research. We said that like a million times. We're saying it again. And